Welcome back to the Heritage Live Weekly, everyone. Every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central Time, we go over the auctions and talk the market. This one is going to be the first Heritage auction now, right after Carl Jobst's video dropped. If you haven't seen that, I recommend you Google or YouTube Carl Jobst and watch his video. Very informative. So this will be the first look at the market now, post Carl's video. And it may be too soon to make any kind of reactions in the market, I will say, but it's going to be interesting to see if we do see any kind of fallout from it. My personal opinion is no, it probably will be business as usual, but a lot of opinions have formed very quickly, so we'll see if there's any kind of effects. But let's just go ahead and see what we have going on here. We have a Mario Bros. Atari. That is always the highest selling Atari game, as we've seen with other auctions. 9.4 complete in box on Double Dragon. That's kind of huge. That's really high complete in box grade. 5.0 A seal on Excite Bike. It is Rev A. This looks like one of those mold games maybe that came out. It looks like right here we can see water damage in it. We'll look at that closer once we get there. We have a Gyromite matte sticker, first production. I assume it's a CIB. I don't think a factory sealed would get into. Yeah, 3.5 complete in box. Not much there. Ice Climber 7.0 matte sticker though. You can see that's already at 990. Another Super Mario Bros. 9.2 A plus Right Bros. Already at 11,700, of course. That's a big one tonight. Donkey Kong Land 3, 9.8 A++. I am interested to see what this sells for. This was one of the most common Game Boy games for a long time. There were a lot of factory cases of this, but then they dried up, and now here we are where Donkey Kong Land 3 is selling for large amounts. So I'm curious if this is 2,000, 3,000. I want to know where this lands. Pokemon Blue 8.0, Yellow in 9.2 A++. Okay, something there. Street Fighter 2 8.0 A++. It is the Majesco reprint though. Still 1,800 bucks already, which is pretty strong for a Majesco Street Fighter 2. Pokemon Emerald is here. 9.2 A+, already at 16,200 with buyer's premium. That's probably the biggest one of this auction. Sonic the Hedgehog here too, a 9.4 A++. First print, Sonic 2. That also might do really strong. First print of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, 9.0 A+. This is the same version that did sell for 11,200 back in like March, maybe March, April. And here is the Mario Bros. Atari 2600. This is the 1987 print, which you can see on the back of the box. I don't know if I've ever actually showed you guys. I've talked about it before, but if you go to the back of the box on Mario Bros. On Atari 2600, if you look down here in this copyright information, you can see this is 1987 print. So I'm pretty sure that makes it the third print of it, the latest print. I'm not 100% sure. But it is a later print of this game on Atari 2600. But I'm not well versed enough for me to definitively sit there and tell you that this is the latest print that exists. 1,260 for a 7.0 B+. Depends how much a B+ seal hurts, I guess, is hard to say on that. 2,100 for a 6.5 A+ versus 1,200 for a 7.0 B+. Which, I mean, I think I do agree. They're going up 2 seal ratings and only dropping 1 box rating. And if you guys know from what you've seen of even an A+ seal, a B+ seal rating is not good. The oddest game I've seen sell for a decent amount, there was one with Bruce Willis in it. That was really weird. I can't even, The Fifth Element or something during one of these auctions? That one really stood out to me. That was so weird.
$42, $60.
Stock market, crypto, all alternative investments, Pokemon is nothing new, people. All manipulated. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong, Miser. There is all manipulated. What was the name of the upcoming auction site accepting VGA graded games? I remember you mentioning it last week. Golden Auctions, Gabagool, will be coming out with VGA and WATA auctions very soon. I think their auction starts at the end of August. It might run from like September 1st to September 16th, something like that. But Golden Auctions is entering into the world really soon here. Or Minus World. It could also be Minus World. Minus World isn't an auction site though. That is a buy it now marketplace. So depends what you mean. Greg, do you ever watch Pat the NES Punk's podcast? Does he seem well informed to you? Gabula, I think he is well informed in the markets that he participates in and about gaming, you know, collecting gaming as a whole. When it comes to sealed video games and graded video games, I don't know if he has a lot of knowledge in it, nor does he participate in the markets himself. So I think he's really good in the realm that he participates in, but sealed graded video games, I don't know if he has enough knowledge to really give a fair opinion outside of giving an opinion on what he sees from the outside taking place, right? Anyone can give an opinion that they think it's bullshit, they think it's fake, they think that it's manipulated, etc., etc. But I don't know if he can offer much insight as to why everything might be happening with sealed games and rarities or price history on them, stuff like that. I don't watch his podcast, no, but that's just general what I have, I guess, heard about him. So take it with a grain of salt. If I've misspoken it anywhere, please correct me down below. Love the VGA submission vid, literally the only source on the topic in the world. Yeah, L-dubs, it's insane that, you know, that's where we are still with graded games. I know everyone likes to say it's crazy and everything's outrageous and we're at such a far point in the market that this can't sustain, it'll die, it'll collapse. But, you know, when you get to the point where we're at a point where there was no VGA grading submission guide on YouTube until I made one like 3 or 4 weeks ago. That's insane, right? That is insane. Imagine a world in 5 to 10 years where we have as many video game YouTubers as we do have Pokemon YouTubers. Imagine what that world might look like. I mean, yeah, I'm not discounting the fact that we got to an inorganic place very quickly. And there was forms of manipulation and forms of pumping. I'm not discounting that, but I just... I feel like we still have so much further to go in this whole market and realm of sealed graded video games. And I'm just going to scan the Atari quick here to make sure we didn't miss anything huge. It looks like we had a whole slew of games here that sold for under $100 or right at the 100 mark. Just not a whole lot I can comment on. And here is the Euro print of Donkey Kong. If you didn't see it last time or you missed it, stunning box art. At some point in my life, I will buy one of these simply to keep it on display. And here's the 9.4 complete in box Double Dragon. It is an oval seal, so we aren't going to see, you know, huge price action that a circle seal might bring. But, you know, when people talk about how common games are, and when you don't understand how strict WATA is, I know it's easy now, right? With all the stuff that came out to just shit on WATA games, shit on their grading scale. But when you actually understand how strict they are in general with CIB games and achieving a 9.4 rating on one of them, let's just look at the breakdown for it. So this box is a 9.2. You know, on a CIB game, having a 9.6 box is insane. So when you get into this level of rarity by condition, you see these premiums also pop up where a normal copy of this game on eBay, if you don't have this WATA case around it, and this rating will never sell for this amount. Should it be like that? Do you agree with it being like that? Think of it what you will, right? But there are condition premiums for this ultra rare stuff to find in this condition. Put it that way. Here is the 5.0A Excite Bike Rev A version, making it like 5th print of the game or so, 6th print, somewhere in there. Because like I said, I think this has, oh my god, hey, look at that. Jesus Christ. Water and mold damage. So this, I think, came from those eBay auctions like 6 months ago or so, where a seller was selling a whole bunch of moldy games. And, you know, they sold for solid amounts given what they were. I don't think this sold for $1,600 on eBay, though, if I remember right. But, you know, I just talked about the rarity of condition there with Double Dragon being a 9.4. Finding a factory sealed Excite Bike in any condition is a tall order and hard to do, which is why we're seeing $1,680 for only a 5.0A that realistically kind of looks like shit, you know? So there's two sides of the rarity thing you really need to get. There's conditional rarity and there's absolute rarity. Excite Bike here is falling on the absolute rarity side, even though the condition is kind of shitty. We had Gremlins there, 528 for an 8.0A. The complete in box 3.5 Gyromite for 228. And the Ice Climber 7.0 matte sticker for 1170. Let's just go ahead and take a peek at what the box was here. The box on this was a 6.5. So the lowest component, but that is, oh no, the manual was a bit lower, but not bad at all. Not bad at all. The cleaning kit, only $408. I tell ya, it could have went for so much more. Everyone knows cleaning kits are the future of video game collecting. This pyre got a snag. And here is the Super Mario Bros. 3 9.2 A+. It is a Wright Bros. Later production. We just saw, what, the 9.6 A+, I think, sell for 30-some thousand, so... You know, this one should land somewhere in the 15 grand range, maybe 20 at most. I know there was in that data thing that Seth had posted. He was claiming that Mario Bros. 3 is the most available factory sealed NES game, which, yes, it probably is, but that's also due to how many people have submitted them for grading and how many people are selling them, and it just trades hands a lot as one of these expensive pieces that does have supply that isn't that low. You know, Mario Bros. 3 will always have overwhelming demand, even if the supply is a little bit higher than other factory sealed games. And that's why, even though, you know, data shows it's one of the most traded, it's one of the NES games that sells the most in graded condition, it's still always going to pull those big premiums. And there we're seeing it sell for $22,800 for the 9.2 A+. And yeah, 9.6 A+ sold for $33,600. Was this the same production here? So yeah, $33,000 for the 9.6 A+, $22,000 for the 9.2 A+. I would personally rather own this one for the extra $9,000 than this one. I think this sold super strong. Honestly, I don't think people have been scared off yet by Carl's video. Let's put it that way. And Vice Project Doom 8.5 A+, selling for $660. One of the more uncommon NES games, actually. You wish you would have got your NBA Courtside 02 GameCubes graded when they spiked after Kobe died. I have 5 sealed. Man, I think those NBA Courtside 2002, if you get them graded now, low jacks, I think you're still going to do great on them. I don't think that is gonna, I don't think you missed the boat on that. The price of NBA Courtside on N64 is much higher than it was when Kobe first died. So I think there's still been a lot of appreciation on that, those games. Pat vs. Greg in the Thunderdome. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. Oh yeah, I'll take on Pat in the Thunderdome. If you've listened to Paul's podcast for years, he's always had a thing against sealed collecting. Any juicy news like this just gives him more room to criticize. Yeah, I know he has been against the whole sealed game movement. That goes all the way back to Nintendo age days. That goes years back. So he does have a biased opinion, but I mean, who doesn't at this point with the market? Why is it so hard to fake the seals? There's just a lot of marks on the seals. I'm gonna actually make a video this week, Awakening Bear. The seals themselves have some marks that are hard to replicate perfectly, but more than faking the seal on stuff like NES games, any kind of cardboard games, the bigger issue is faking a box that has never been opened. The boxes will always show where, when they have been opened, so even if you perfectly replicate the seal, you still have to perfectly replicate an unopened box. And that's where a lot of the additional difficulty lies. You know, we see really good Y-fold seals coming out with DS and Wii games, Wii U games. Y-folds are pretty good and it's harder to detect, but with cardboard games, yeah, it's just a better seal pattern overall that's harder to replicate, and then you also have the boxes which will show where. But yeah, I'm gonna make a video soon going over factory seals on cardboard games to just help give you a little more confidence when dealing with them. Wario's Woods 9.0 A+, 468. Yoshi's Cookie 9.4 A+, 840. Do I think getting any of the PS3 Spider-Man games graded with VGA is worth it, or should I wait to see if WATA or the other coming company does sealed PS3? Forgive me if I forget the name. Yin Yang, if you're looking to sell immediately, go through VGA if you want to. We don't even have any kind of confirmation if CGC is going to PS3 at this point. We don't know what they will accept right off the bat, so even if you do wait, you might be waiting a long time, but, you know, there's no issue with going with VGA. They still do have a really good market share, and it should be fine. If down the line, for whatever reason, you decide, you know, shit, I really need to now go and grade it with WATA or CGC, you can cross that boat when you get there, but you might be waiting a really long time if CGC doesn't enter with them immediately. Early indications are early 2022, CGC will begin submissions. I just saw that today, actually, from Matt McClellan, who is their head advisor. So, early 2022 is the earliest you can hope for CGC. Part of my sealed game collection is a sealed NCAA 14. Is that worth grading even a new double NCAA game coming? It's gonna drop and I think I gotta dump it ungraded. Lowjacks Peter, NCAA 14 is a game that I have been forever bearish on, so I mean, my opinion is pretty biased against it. I say dump it without grading it, get rid of it. I do think it is going to go down as well. I think that game had a lot of player demand, which was propping the price. And now that a new NCAA game is coming, which I always felt was inevitable, that we would get a new NCAA football game, I think NCAA 14 is simply going to kind of be washed away by history. I just don't see it maintaining. It's kind of like what happened with another game I never liked was PGA McElroy for PS4 and Xbox. McElroy's Tour Golf. I can't remember now, but that game was also really expensive because it was one of the last golf games that allowed you to use in-game golfers, I think, and in-game courses. It was something like that. It was one of the last golf games to have the PGA license tour. I never like investing in stuff like that or even holding stuff like that, so my take, dump it. Who is buying these games? Sun Kakaroto, there just is a lot of demand in this price range. Like, I have no doubt in my mind that these prices we see here are legitimate and might even be going into collectors' hands, not speculator, not investor, just collectors who want to participate in this market at these price points. If you do believe in the market, it's not crazy to believe that even at $22,800, if you want to collect a Mario Bros. 3 and you think, oh shit, in 5 years, maybe I'll never be able to afford one. It's not outrageous for people who have been doing this for a long time, or even for new money who are entering, to spend $22,000 on something like this. Should it be that way? Is it rational? Etc., etc., etc. Who the hell knows? But in the world of collectibles and NFTs and comic books and coins and all the other shit, $23,000 just isn't that high of a money amount. It just isn't. Your Final Fantasy VIII just came back, 9.4 complete in box. What price do you think it's worth? A Final Fantasy VIII, you say, Clinton? Ooh, you know what a good game that is. Realistically, at 9.4, I would expect it to sell somewhere in the $200 range, but I mean, it could be 300, who knows? I don't have much faith in complete in box, disc-based games, at least at this point. That's my honest opinion on it. My Final Fantasy VIII opinion on it, $1,000, completely underrated, completely underpriced. Get it now before you can't. Worth grading a sealed Heart Gold and Soul Silver with VGA or wait for WATA? It's just hard to say, Brandon Moore. Well, your intention is what will matter the most. If you're looking to flip it into the market because you think prices are going to go down, send it to VGA, flip it into the market, and take that gamble, right? We don't know how long it will be until VGA fully opens up for small box DS games. We have no idea when or if they will ever accept custom-sized DS games. So if you are going to play the waiting game, you could seriously be playing the waiting game for years. The Donkey Kong Land 3, 9.8 A+. So that sold for kind of fuck all, didn't it? Am I wrong there? I swear in Facebook groups, back in, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, this game was trading hands for like $2,000–$3,000. $1,000 seems light. I just want to watch Mortal Kombat 3 first, and then we'll go and look at price comps. So Mortal Kombat 3 also, 780 there, 7.5 A+. I also want to look at comps on this. But we also have Pokemon Blue 8.0 A+. So we need to check out this one too. It is a Sandshrew print of it. But the Pokemon here is getting some bidding. I was surprised to see it stagnate there right at the 3,000 mark. I would think somewhere more in the 5K range. Let's just click into this one quick. Here's an 8.0 Rattata version back in July for 4,000. So this is showing, I guess, right now, the premium between Rattata and Sandshrew, which it looks like no one really cares based on a $4,400 price point. The Sandshrew here did not do much better at all than the Rattata version that sold back in July. Whether that's a softening of Pokemon prices or just noise, really hard to say when it's only this close in price. But here's the Pokemon Yellow 9.2 A++, which I'm pretty sure we saw this grade sell for like $16,000 a couple months ago, which was an outrageous sale, but we're already seeing this one climb pretty high, all things considered. And this is the white E version, so that might be bringing in some more action. And I'll get back to chat in just a minute here. There's just a few of these that I do want to look at. These are the more interesting items of the auction, where if we're going to gauge what kind of effects it might have, looking at these really popular listings and what they do is the best kind of gauge we're going to get. So let's start with the Donkey Kong Land 3 for $1,000 for the 9.8 A++. 9.8A++ back in December sold for 960. So there you go. This game in 8 months has not done fuck all. 960 there, and this one sold for 1,020. I'm sure that this spiked up somewhere in the, like, April to July. This game was so hot, and then, yeah, no, it's actually one of the most common games, and I think the market realized that. Mortal Kombat 3 sold for 750, 8.0A for 906. This was 7.5A+, exactly where you'd expect it to land. That was back in July, this is in August. Keeping pace perfectly. Pokemon Yellow was the other one. 9.2A++ for 10,800, showing that Pokemon still has a lot of strength. So here is the 9.4A+ later print with the black ESRB, 5,200. $140. 9.2A+ back July, 7,200. So add an extra plus to the seal, add an extra 3,600. Strong sale for Pokemon Yellow. Strong sale. And here's the Oracle of Seasons, which is the hollow foil version here with the reflective gold behind the logo. I've like mumbled every one of those words. Sorry about that. And 9.4A+. I'm not sure if we've seen this game really sell that high in the past. 9.4A++, 2,600. 9.4A+, 2,400. So what can we expect? Somewhere in the 2,000 range, right? Oracle of Seasons, $2,000. So yeah. You know, right where you'd expect it to fall based on the July sales to the August. No appreciation, maybe a slight decrease if you want to go that route, but pretty much where you'd expect it. Are you crazy to not like the idea of WATA grading DS games since it's hard plastic case and the wrapping is majority of the condition? Well, in those instances, right, your plastic hard cases can still get dinged and dented, so with your WATA grades on DS games, if you do value the condition of the shrink wrap, you'd really want to aim for that A++ condition, maybe more than you'd want a 9.8. Maybe you'd want a 9.6 A++ instead. Maybe we'll see those be more valued than a 9.8 A+. Maybe an esoteric question, but what do you think it's worth to look for PC humongous entertainment games like Backyard Sports or like Putt Putt series? I'm pretty sure I saw a Putt Putt game on eBay just a couple of days ago, 18 May. Not something I would chase after in this market. If you have nostalgic attachment to those types of games, if you want them for your own collection, go for it. But I wouldn't buy them hoping to flip them into the market at a later date. Like you said, you're really getting into esoteric games at that point. And yeah, they have appeal, right? All of us played Putt Putt. Lots of people played Freddy Fish, Backyard Sports. But I don't know if they have that same adult collector demand that you see with other games. Why did you just find out that the Nintendo Virtual Boy exists? Ben Sharp, you've been missing out your whole life. If you've never played on one, if you ever get the chance to, just play on a Virtual Boy. It is the most 90s thing you will ever do. And here's another one of the big ones in today's auction, the 9.2A++ Pokemon Emerald. Which, Pokemon Emerald is always one of the strongest selling Pokemon games. It is one of the worst selling Pokemon games, so you see it sell here, 16,200. What have we seen? The 9.8A+ and the 9.6A+ for 31,000. On eBay, though, there have also been sales far lower than this. So take that for what you will. A 9.2A++ for 16 grand is pretty damn strong given what's been taking place on eBay for this title. So always remember that Heritage is one price point that you can check. Always make sure to at least check what's happening on eBay as well. In a lot of cases, you can get stuff cheaper on eBay than you can on Heritage in the circumstance that the game also does come up on eBay. I understand that Heritage is the only place you can go to find a lot of factory sealed games at this point. And the Pokemon Red Mystery Dungeon team here was a 9.4A+ for 1,260. Emerald Shenanigans? Hard to say, Sun Kakarado. The Heritage auction crowd is often not the eBay crowd. So you're gonna see prices on Heritage that you could never get over on eBay. But does that mean it's all bullshit and fake? I don't know, right? That's the part where Carl made the speculation that there might be shenanigans and fake bidding and shilling, but it's almost impossible to actually prove any of that stuff. And here's the 9.4A++ Sonic 2, which we've actually seen quite a decent amount of them come up. Sonic 2 is highly comparative to Mario Bros. 3 in its frequency, but high demand. And here's the Sonic 2, 9.4A++ for 6,600. I don't even know if these are selling strong or weak anymore. Here we go. 5,040 back in August 10th. This one was 6,600. This sold strong as shit. So there you go, right? 9.48 plus for 5,700, 5,000, and 6,600. It's why you can never take one auction price point. You can't be like, oh, that's the price now, mine's worth that, because as we see, there's actually quite a bit of variance between listings when it comes to just auction after auction after auction. You're always going to have natural variance and noise within those. So just keep that in mind. Is Sega getting hotter? Sun Kakarado, we still don't see enough Sega stuff in these auctions to really have any gauge of it. Is Sega games factory sealed, especially Sega Genesis? They just don't come up a lot. If we were to see high representation of Sega games hit a heritage auction, we would see, people would think Sega is on fire. Sega has boomed. But right now, I think it's more just that Sega is expensive if you're chasing after certain things. We just haven't seen it in the public consciousness yet. And that's for Sega Genesis. As for CD and Dreamcast, I don't know what we're ever going to see for high explosions there. On certain titles, I think we will for sure, but those are definitely more niche consoles and will probably always be that way. CIB Dreamcast Chef's Love Side, man, we just hit the bottom of the barrel. Who's bidding on? What? That was a complete in box?
95.
Oh my god, 216 for a complete in box Chef's Love Shack. No way. Oh, Clinton, take your 9.4 Final Fantasy VIII. That has to be worth $1,000 if this is 216. Wow. Wow. I didn't realize that was a complete in-box copy of that game. 336 on the 9.6A Plus Ultimate Battle 22. Get ready to see this game in every single weekly auction for like the next 2 months. The Grand Theft Auto Greatest Hits 9.8A for 630. So when I talk about Greatest Hits games, I think this one for 630 is a pretty good price to have a pretty perfect condition. I gotta miss. That was a misset there. You have a good condition one here. I can't say pretty perfect. I saw the 9.8 and got excited. Only an A seal rating, but still, it's only 630 bucks to have this. Black label copies are highly coveted at this point. I just don't think 630 is that bad of a price for that. Yeah, it's tough, Raj, right? Did Carl bring more hype to the market? Because he definitely brought a lot more attention to the market, and with that attention, you might bring in more people who want to pump this market. You might bring in more speculators, more investors, people who didn't know that this whole video game thing is going on, who don't give a shit about the pumping or the shilling or anything taking place. They just see a chance to make money, and it may even cause the market to pump higher, as stupid as that sounds. It's an interesting thing to consider. So when I'm commenting on this relativity stuff, right, is this a good price? Is this a bad price? This is coming from a lot of market watching and a lot of opinion based on what I see. So obviously I can't say, oh no, that is obviously a low, there's a low pop of this game, we're not going to see many. But in the 8 to 10 years that I've been collecting sealed games actively, I have a good gauge of what is and isn't available and what isn't available in certain grades. So if we see certain games popping off for prices, like Judge Dredd sold for 228, right? It's a 9.6A plus. It has the Judge Dredd name in it. So if you want to speculate on something like Judge Dredd, and that being a name brand IP that might have more demand in the future, right? Then I can sit there and say, oh, 228 for this? Well, shit, Muppet Monster sold for 9.4A plus for 264. Pinobi sold for 132. What's another 80 bucks to get a game like Judge Dredd? It's a lot of relativity analysis. It's hard to explain without going into deep, like, analysis watch with other things. I don't know if you are involved in any collectible market seriously, but you just start getting a lot of relativity analysis and opinions. And can my opinions be wrong? Of course they can. So always take what I say with a grain, right? I'm one dude giving his opinion on the internet here about video games. And this was we missed this auction because I was giving a big answer there. 9.8A plus Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, 5,280. It is the version with the security strip across the top. And the 9.6A plus sold for 1,800 back in August 10th. So we are seeing a pretty big premium here for the 9.8, going up to 5,200 there. That's an increase of like $3,400. You know, I don't know if we'll ever see the, holy shit, this one here actually, July 13th, 2600 too.
Fair warning.
So, yeah, this one came back in a strong way in this auction. Damn. Price doubled from back in July, but this price was also down a fuck ton from earlier in the year. So, Grand Theft Auto Trilogy has seen, or Grand Theft Auto San Andreas has been seeing a lot of price swing. A lot of price swing. And that's the type of volatility that I warned you guys about in this market. So here's the Kingdom Hearts 9.6A++. Sold for $3,840. Let's just go and get some comps on this one too quick. What? They don't have any on here? I was sure kids sold on here before, no? Am I crazy? I'll have to actually type that in after. But I was sure Kingdom Hearts has sold before on here. If NFTs are doing well, these physical art pieces would do better, I think. Depends on supply too, but even NFTs have supply as well. Yeah, it's such a tough thing, right? Like, I know a lot of people point to NFTs, we're like, oh, if the NFT market can be fucking stupid, why can't video games go up in price? And, you know, a lot of comparative analysis like that can be dangerous, but it is also what a lot of people think, and it does lead to price action and these rapid increases that can take place in something like video games where there's such a finite supply of a lot of the actual rare games.
$480, $500, $550.
Yes, you should be the first person to grade Ford racing on the PS1. Absolutely you should. First appearance of Ford in a video game. That's worth a lot of money. Here's Forza Motorsport. I love the Forza series. I already have a factory sealed one of these because I love the game. Just as a note, it is an actual pretty available factory sealed game. We'll just look at that in a second here. Here's the Halo 2 9.4A+. This is a do not sell before version, which signifies the first printing of this game. And we saw the Halo 2 there for $1,800. This is a 9.4A++. 9.4A+. We had the 9.8A plus here. What's wrong with this one? Does this have not... Is this not a do not sell before version? Must not be. So that is not a first print there for $1,800. Xbox Live Circle, early production. Here we go. So March 23rd, $1,100. And August 24th, $1,800. So there you go. It looks like this is actually not Y-folds either. This looks like it is a... Yeah, it is the LRT seam. So the seam's going here, here, and at the bottom. It is not Y-folds. There are two different versions of this game. Maybe that contributed to price, but either way, it did outsell the other one by quite a bit. And the other one I had open there, I think, was Forza. Let's go ahead and see what it did. 9.6A plus, 528 back in April. 9.6A plus, 660. A little bit movement upwards. You know, we're almost through the auction now, and...
Fair warning.
I'm not sure we saw an instance of anything selling weaker due to all of the allegations and damning evidence put out by Carl's video. And you know, the internet forgets quickly. So if there is no kind of immediate reaction in the next week or two, I don't know if there will be at all. As much as everyone wants to say, you know, it's all bullshit, it's all fake, etc., 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 at this point in time, there is a lot of people just involved in the market, either organically or not, who don't want to see it collapse, I guess. Put it that way. There's a lot more money that will continue to prop the market than any kind of money will try to bring it down. Now, not saying it shouldn't dip or anything, or, you know, all of those claims should have an effect on things, but... that's just kind of how the world works. Halo 3, I had been interested in for a long time to see one sell. This is a 9.6A plus for $1,920, which, like, damn. Damn Halo 3. You know, I would love to pick up these Halo games. I kick myself so much for not purchasing them back when they were dime a dozen, and with the demand now and people wanting them, like, shit, $1,900 for Halo 3 just, that hurts. That's hard for me to... That's a hard one with price memory for me to get behind. Let's go ahead and take a peek here at the Kingdom Hearts. Because, yeah, I thought one had been on Heritage. Is it all just King? Oh, here we go. That's so weird. Why didn't it show? Squaresoft. So the 9.8A plus sold for $7,800. 9.8A plus for $6,600. 9.6A plus, this is one we just saw today. No, it's not. September 13th, 2020. Interesting. So... the price of Kingdom Hearts has actually come down a little bit.
Fair warning.
July 11th, 2020. Oh. Okay, so $3,800 in September 2020. Then July 2021, which is a month ago, we saw it sell for even less. Now we have this one, 9.6A++, slightly better condition, right? Selling for $3,800, which is the same price that this sold for back in September, 9.6A+. So in a year's time, we have seen it depreciate a bit, for sure. In a month's time, we've about seen it do nothing, maybe an extra $1,000 or an extra plus, probably kind of normal. If we go back to May, though, we can see that it was $1,300. So there's actually a decent amount of price action on Kingdom Hearts. Interesting. So I see why you picked it up for $3,800. It might turn up being a decent deal for you. You just got Twilight Princess HD back 9.8A++. eBay, Heritage, or Hold. Joseph, if you just want to get rid of it, if you're looking to sell it, I would probably just set up an eBay auction and let it go. I don't know if I would bother sending it to Heritage because you could be waiting literally months before you actually see your item in a weekly auction. So don't think that it'll be a quick thing of you can sign it to Heritage and you're going to see a paycheck in the next 3 weeks. That would be a long process, Joseph. A long process, Joseph, because you need to get it into a weekly auction. The answer you gave is still based on the only known quantity. I collect art and know the overall edition size, the total amount that can exist, not including any damage or destroyed. When you're dealing with items that have unknown quantities that only existed for a short term, there's a good chance there's someone somewhere with a sealed box of mint copies somewhere. Yeah, see, Mitch, I think the odds, if you're still in chat, Mitch, you might not be, but I am on the side of there being large amounts of factory sealed games, warehouses of games, people sitting on these factory cases or unsold copies, extremely low. So you can say that, yes, it is always a risk that there will be more to enter the market when we don't know the absolute quantity of them. But even if we had population reports, you still wouldn't know the absolute quantity of games. All you would have is a relative analysis of what you've seen in the market over the years, because ungraded copies still won't show in the pop report. What's the point of commenting on prices and tracking the market when you believe it's all fraud and propping? Jonathan Poor, if you do believe it's all fraud and propping, there would be no point of doing that. But even if you do believe that, you still need to track it to see what happens to it if you are participating in it. As a hobby, as my main hobby in life, I do participate in this market. I do collect factory sealed games. So even if it's all propped, it's all bullshit, it's all fake, I still need and want to know what's happening so I can make educated buying decisions, as I still am going to collect, buy, sell into this market at regular intervals. Your thought process was, I want it, and it was pretty soft. Yeah, you know, Costa, I think it's really hard for people to imagine people being willing to spend $4,000 on a video game and have the take you just said there, right? You wanted it and you liked the price, so you paid $4,000. I don't know. There's overblown stuff of shill bidding and collusion and bullshit where there are just people participating in this market, especially in the $1,000 to $5,000 range, who just like the shit. They just buy the shit, you know? And it's a shame that all of the market is now going to be painted by this fraud, this scam brush, where there are still enthusiasts in the market who just enjoy doing this stuff. Halo ODST and Halo 4 are still pretty inexpensive to buy. However, I'm not big on buying Halo 4. It's the worst of all the Halo games and first that Bungie wasn't involved with. Yeah, I've seen Halo 4, Brian, all over eBay, and I know it's not that expensive, but like, I just have really no connection to Halo 4. Like you said, it was the first one without Bungie. It was where I kind of dropped off playing Halo games. Like, I stuck with Halo Reach. I didn't even play much Halo 4 multiplayer. So, I just don't really have any interest there. Eduardo, 88 people watching, only 43 likes. Exactly. If you've been hanging out for a while, make sure to hit the like button. Greatly helps out the channel. So that is the end of this week's auction. And the question on everyone's mind was, were we going to see pullbacks in the market? Was Carl Jobs' video going to see immediate effects on the market prices of these games? And as we looked through the auction, we did comps on a lot of items that we saw, and there was no real evidence of pullbacks on any items as far as we saw with comp analysis. And really, we had items still selling extremely strong based on sales from even a month ago or a few months ago. So let's just go ahead and see what we had here. We had the Super Mario Bros. 3 9.2A+, 22,800. There's no sign of weakening there or people being scared off by the news. Same with the Pokemon Emerald ending for 16,200. Pokemon Yellow, 10,800. The Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is one that saw a nice increase actually from its last sale, which wasn't too long ago. $6,600 in this auction today. The Grand Theft Auto San Andreas also saw a huge pop-up from its last time it sold, $5,200 in this auction. Pokemon Blue sold exactly where we expected. Sandshrew version showing that not much of a premium over the Rattata version in lower grade. Might be something to take note of. Kingdom Hearts 9.68++. You could say that this was a little bit of a soft sale from what we saw in the comps, but I mean, hey, $3,800 still for Kingdom Hearts on PS2. I'm sure people would call bullshit on that all the same if they were not keen to what is actually taking place in the market. Double Dragon 9.4 CIB, we talked about the condition rarity of that and why it can bring in $2,600 despite being a complete in box oval seal. This might be a little bit high, this might be a little bit bullish on it, but we haven't seen a lot of factory sealed versions come up, so if you want to go to the next best alternative for something like Double Dragon, you probably will never afford a 9.4 condition factory sealed copy of the game. So if you want to have one of these for your collection in near perfect condition, you might look at the CIB one. Just one of the angles as to why someone might spend so much on the complete in box version when you could just buy a factory sealed version, right? Not always the case for a lot of these games. Oracle of Seasons, $2,000, exactly where we're expecting it to land. Halo 3, 9.68+, sold for $1,920, which I'm pretty sure is the first price point we get on Halo 3 to track, which, you know, $1,920 for the 9.68+. If we see the 9.8 A++ hit Heritage, that feels like a sky's the limit type of game. Will I be buying it? No, I will not, but I will enjoy watching what a Halo 3 sells for at the highest end. Halo 2, 9.4 A+, $1,800. The Excite Bike Moldy. This is, you know, maybe one of the signs of just how strong sealed video games are from a, just from the actual intrinsic organic market of it. Like, this is a 5.0A, right? This is a shitty condition, all things considered. But just having a factory sealed Excite Bike, having a factory sealed black box title is extremely difficult no matter what grade you're buying. So, I mean, if you want to call 1,680 fake, sure, go for it. But, you know, the odds of you finding an Excite Bike factory sealed in any condition is just extremely low. And when people talk about pop reports, you know, that is going to save the market, collapse the market, pop reports in the exact same fashion are going to show you how hard it is to find some games like this. And they'll probably just go up in price all the same. So, you know, just take it for what it is. The Mario Bros. 1260, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon 1260. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon actually used to be a super common game on Game Boy Advance. There were factory cases of this for a long time. I think I bought mine from someone who had a factory case of them, and I just kept it, right? I kept it raw. It is still raw to this day because it literally wasn't worth getting it graded when it's only a $30, $40 game. Just kind of funny to see price appreciation on that game. Ice Climber Matte Sticker Seal, $1,170. This is another one, right, where you're seeing a lower grade complete in box game sell for $1,100 because getting matte sticker black box games in even decent condition, right? 7.0 is like your decent middle upper end condition, extremely difficult. So pop reports might also show that getting a black box matte sticker seal on any of these black box games is incredibly difficult, and we could see them go up in price. Donkey Kong Land 3 came down from everything we'd seen, which, I mean, as it should, just overly common game here. Just too damn common. The Final Fantasy Legend 2 is interesting at $900. I'm glad to see a price point here on the actual Squaresoft version. Paper Mario 7.5B+, but displays super nicely for $870. And coming down, actually, here, to the losers of the auction. Sorry, I saw something interesting. I didn't. But the loser of the auction today is $67. Carnival, complete in box, $67. Am I crazy, or are we seeing Carnival be the weekly loser like over and over again? It's kind of funny. I'm gonna have to look at that. Eventually, I'm gonna make a chart where we show all the losers of the auction and we can see who the most usual suspects are. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're seeing Carnival a lot. But thanks for tuning in for this week's Weekly. Hope to see you next Tuesday. We're always going to talk the market. We're always going to talk what's going on. So if you have an opinion, if you want to share something, get an opinion in, make sure to come to the live chat and I'll answer. Hope to see you next week.